San Francisco cop finally loses badge for spewing racist hate in a group chat. Jane, can we get you out there, or maybe virtually? California Commission on Police Officer Standards and Training has permanently revoked the peace officer certification of former San Francisco police officer Michael Celis. I mean, he couldn't have been that bad. What did he do to earn this? Well, we'll tell you. We will tell you. California police officer accused of sending racist, homophobic texts that came to light in 2015 and embroiled his department in scandal will no longer be able to serve as a cop in the Golden State. Looks like he's putting his stuff on the moving truck then, because I know this type. Celis was one of several of his police officers from the San Francisco Police Department who exchanged numerous messages containing racist sentiments and slurs aimed at Black, Hispanic, and gay people. So how were the texts discovered? Federal fraud and conspiracy investigation into a different officer, former police sergeant Ian Furminger, led to the discovery of thousands of texts that Furminger traded with other cops. You see, there's a group of these people. They're kin. Atlanta Black Star says the group chat included multiple officers and civilians who belittled minority groups. Several participants repeatedly used the phrase white power. One text read, all ends must expletive hang. Another message read, do you celebrate Kwanzaa at your school? To which someone replied, yeah, we burn the cross on the field. Then we celebrate whiteness. One person wrote, 20,000 bees are in Vacaville near school, but they're not dangerous like Black people. Commission notified Celis that his certification would be revoked in late July after finding, quote, clear and convincing evidence that he sent multiple unequivocally racist and homophobic text messages. The committee determined that a reasonable person would conclude that Celis would not perform his law enforcement duties fairly and impartially. Celis did not appeal that decision, which resulted in a default revocation, no further proceedings. After the texts were discovered, the department tried to fire the officers involved, but a judge ruled police officials waited too long to discipline the cops after they sued the agency. An appeals court later overruled that decision, prompting the police department to restart disciplinary proceedings. Celis resigned from his position in 2018. Before those proceedings began, 3 of Celis's partners were also tied to the scandal, surrendered their licenses, according to records from the Post Commission. 4 others were deemed unfit to be police officers after being convicted of other crimes. So there you have it. I guess we could say things worked out, Senator, but I'm going to be, I love being a pessimist in some ways. The hell took so long? This is October 2025. This ain't no victory. Do you know how many people these fools, these clowns, these bigots, these homophobes hurt in the meantime? And by the way, where are they now? Are they in Arizona, perhaps? Maybe they moved to Washington. Don't know the answer. But their slave catcher language, this is historic slave catcher language, this is the origins of policing in America, is so vile that the amount of time it takes to rid ourselves of this nuisance, this public vile nuisance, that's not justice to me. Help me, please. I want to be hopeful, but I don't feel hopeful after reading this, Senator.
Again, I mean, these back-to-back stories are grating on how far we have to go in terms of this American experiment and the level of anti-Black racism and hatred is real. And it is all of our responsibility to deconstruct our construction, but particularly if you are in public service. And particularly if you hold a badge and a gun. And Sharon Reed, to your point, what took so long? What was the headline? All ends must hang. Again, just like the male Karen, this is deliberate language. Do people understand that Black people in the United States of America through the 19th and 20th centuries and the level of white terrorist behavior after the Civil War, after Reconstruction, when the federal troops pulled out of the South and Black people were left vulnerable, and the power was given back to the same class and group of people who were slaveholders and or controlled the system, that lynching of Black folks. So when this officer says all ends must hang, he is reaching into the lineage of lynching in the United States of America. He used these terms deliberately. This is not by accident. And so, to terrorize and control Black people, lynching was used. And so you have a police not 20 years ago, not 50 years ago, not 100 years ago, but just a couple of days ago when you put it on the historical spectrum. Was this 2015? He actually, 2015, saying that all ends must hang. We got to question this stuff. I want our audience to think about this stuff. And he's not a one-off. It'd be one thing if this was a one-off. This is not a one-off. And that's why we have a serious problem. It must be addressed. And you know what? Let me go on and shout out, since we're teaching lessons today, Sharon Reed, the great investigative journalist, businesswoman named Ida B. Wells.
Thank you.
She was in your industry, Sharon, your profession.
That's right.
And her friends were lynched in Memphis. And she made it her business to find out why they were lynched, and the accusations about mass Black men and Black women was a lie from the pit of hell. It was determined that white people who participated in that were mad at uppity Negroes. And Ida B. Wells did exclusive and extensive research on the history of lynching in the United States of America and turned the tables on that. She had the receipts, and she didn't have TikTok or IG or Twitter or anything to do the investigation. So to have a law enforcement officer say all ends must be, I'm telling you, it should not be acceptable by anybody. And it is grating that Black people have to continuously, we got to continuously have these conversations in the 21st century about Black bodies and Black lives.
They're somewhere out there. I don't believe these people left law enforcement. People like that who wish to have power over others. I get stuff all the time on Facebook, and I press leave group. All these people are saying all this nonsense and filth and racist garbage, and they didn't just leave the group. It tells you who you are. We know exactly.
They want some of that, unless I don't know, Sharon. Unless some of them are in there and they investigative reporters. So maybe that's why they stayed, because they were going to expose it. But you remember the song "Strange Fruit," as sung by Billie Holiday, was recorded in 1939. Just a passage. Southern trees bear a strange fruit, blood on the leaves and blood at the root. Black bodies swinging in the southern breeze. Strange fruit hanging from the poplar trees. It was written by Abel Mineropole. I hope I didn't butcher Abel's last name. And it was recorded by the one and only Billie Holiday in 1939. If you have never listened to that song, I encourage you to listen to that song. And then also Nina Simone, my namesake, she sung a song called Mississippi. God damn. That's the title of the song, y'all.
Be on my playlist.
That's the title of the song.
You got a couple of them there. Nina Simone and Billie Holiday, Freedom Fighters.